the idea of death was so important to me, because this all to me speaks of these little deaths, willing to sacrifice, time with a loved one so that they can be about their own life, is actually loving.
Yeah.
And I think you could look at all those little sacrifices. I mean, parenting in general, you have to be willing to allow a child, an individual, to become their self. One, so that they can live and prosper, and two, I think that it's actually a way for you to receive, like, to be in awe of the beauty that is them. We're all part of one vine, right?
Yeah.
One branch. We're all branches of one vine.
Yeah, which is something that the fox says to her. Says, and he says, we're all of one blood.
Yeah, one blood.
We're all one people. We're all connected.
Yeah.
In this way, but to your point, your wife's successes should be your successes, because you supported her and cherished her and helped her with that, and vice versa, right? I think about it this way, because Oral says to Ansett, but he would have been yours, right? You would have had possession of him.
Right.
Your significant other, your wife, your husband, was not yours when you fell in love with them. So if you now limit them to just being yours, they are no longer the thing you fell in love with, right? You've now limited them and turned them into something else. You have turned them into a trophy or a possession or a thing that doesn't change, that doesn't grow, that is stagnant, that is stale. And that's not a life anyone would want to live.
For the individual, and I think you cheat yourself too.
Because
you're not trying to, well, you're not growing in the sense of how you would cope, and the good that you could see that this other person producing as well.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a comment that a buddy of mine made. He's a floor layer buddy of mine, and he said that he came home from work, and I think he had just gotten married. My buddy did. I don't know if I was quite married yet, but he said, this guy came to me at work and said, Tommy, my buddy's name's Tommy, when you get married, you die a little bit every single day. and he said it in this very gloomy voice, so it kind of became a joke to us of like, oh man, we don't want to get married because we're just going to die. But the more I have thought about that over the years, the more I wonder if how the guy said it of, Tommy, the more, because I think you could say it a little bit more upbeat and jovial of, the longer that you're married, or when you get married, you die to yourself a little bit every day. And maybe that's a beautiful thing. Maybe there's growth and life in that.
Yeah. Well, there has to be, right? I think there is growth in life. Things have to die for growth, right? You have to cut off the branches that aren't growing. You have to, a seed has to die to become a tree. All of those things are true in nature. And it's true in who we are and how we love. And I think about that, the tone of that makes the statement, right? Yeah. The tone of that reveals the nature of his love, right? If he says it like you said it first, you die a little to yourself every day. I think about there was a meme. It was like, all marriage is texting each other. Can you pick this up from your store on the way home? Yeah. Right. That is a love that is more loving of myself than of my wife. Right. Because I'm more concerned about my time than taking care of the things that she needs taken care of. There was a point in your relationship, in your marriage, where it was a joy for you to be burdened by the things that your spouse needed. Yeah. And when you're burdened by the things your spouse needs, or by the things that even a friend needs, love is what is willing to sacrifice what you have for what they're wanting. Yeah. Right. And I think this comes back to this thought of But, okay, so if we always die to ourselves, if we're always preferential of others, if we're always putting others first, when will I ever get mine?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's this concern that nothing will ever come to you. However, if everyone is always doing that, you will never have to worry because there will always be food at the table. Somebody will always be taking care of your needs in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, in marriage, that's what you ought to be doing is you're taking care of her needs. She's taking care of your needs. We're doing this together